Hello everybody. In Moscow, a city bustling with history and modern dynamics, a young man named Alexei walked along the sidewalk, covered with a thin layer of snow, lost in thought. Outside, life seemed to move as usual. People rushed by, cars sped along the streets, and towering buildings reminded Alexei of a world he could not quite touch. Alexei, like many other young people, lived in an era of great change. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, the newly reborn Russia promised freedom, full of possibilities. Yet for Alexei, this freedom felt like an empty space that he didn't know how to fill. His family had always been followers of the Orthodox Christian faith, but recently he felt that something was missing. Truth, peace, and purpose seemed to have vanished in his confusion. One evening, while browsing the internet, Alexei accidentally came across a video lecture on Islam. The speaker calmly explained the simplicity and peace that the religion offered. His words sparked something inside Alexei. Intrigued, he began to search for more information about Islam. It wasn't just Alexei. Across Russia, a similar phenomenon was happening. Young people like Alexei, living in the post-Soviet confusion, were looking for a way out of their spiritual emptiness. In big cities like Kazan, Ufa, and even Moscow, interest in Islam began to grow. It wasn't only among people from Muslim ethnic communities like the Tatars or Bashkirs, but also among many ethnic Russians who had once been staunch Orthodox Christians. One story that circulated in Kazan was about a young woman named Ekaterina. She was a journalist with a deep curiosity about the world. In her work, she often met people from diverse backgrounds, and one day she encountered a friend who had embraced Islam. Her friend shared the journey of their spiritual awakening and how they found peace in the teachings of Islam. Ekaterina was fascinated, not only by her friend's story, but also by the calm and orderly life described by the Muslims she met. They spoke of the importance of family, discipline, and respecting others. That was what Ekaterina felt was lacking in her own busy, ambition-driven life. She began reading more about Islam and felt as if she had found the answers she had been searching for. After months of contemplation, she finally decided to dive deeper into the religion. Meanwhile, a similar phenomenon was happening in other places as well, especially among young men and women. The internet and social media played a crucial role in the spread of information. On online platforms, videos, articles, and discussions about Islam were shared widely. Often, in their search for peace of mind, these young people connected with Muslim communities that were eager to provide guidance. One of them was Kirill, a young man from St. Petersburg. Since childhood, Kirill had felt disconnected from the religion of his family. The Orthodox Christian faith had never provided satisfactory answers to his deep questions about life. But one evening, while browsing a religious discussion forum, he stumbled upon an article about the beauty and peace in the teachings of Islam. The more he read, the deeper his curiosity grew. Islam, with its teachings of peace, balance, and respect for oneself and others, felt like the answer he had been seeking. Kirill decided to meet with an Islamic scholar in the city. Their meeting was simple but full of warmth. Kirill felt as though he had found something he had been missing all his life. There was peace in every conversation, and a genuine desire to live with clear principles. But their journeys were not without obstacles. Both Alexei, Ekaterina, and Kirill faced various challenges. Their families and friends often questioned their decision to embrace a faith seen as foreign. There was worry, misunderstanding, and even fear of change. Yet for those who chose Islam, this decision was not just about adopting a religion, it was a spiritual journey with deep meaning. In the cold darkness of the night, as Moscow's city lights glittered and the streets never slept, Alexei realized something that stirred his heart. He no longer felt empty. Something was beginning to fill him, something beyond logic, beyond a system that could be understood. He felt the peace he had never experienced before, a peace that came from a new understanding of life and his relationship with God. Out there, across Russia, thousands of stories like Alexei, Ekaterina, and Kirill's were happening every day. A phenomenon that was unexpected, a wave of desire to find peace through a path that once seemed unimaginable, Islam. And this was only the beginning. Alexei's life slowly changed after he embraced Islam. He felt calmer, more focused, and his life seemed to have newfound meaning. But he soon realized that his path wasn't going to be easy. Though he felt a sense of peace, the world around him often viewed him with suspicion. His family, while loving, couldn't hide their concern. "Why have you chosen this path?" his mother asked, tears welling up in her eyes. "Why not stay with what we taught you all these years?" Yet Alexei remained resolute. He knew that this was the journey he had to take to find the truth he had been seeking. He slowly explained to his mother what he had found in Islam: peace, tranquility, and a way of life rooted in love and discipline. Similarly, Ekaterina, after months of reflection and prayer, finally made the bold decision. One afternoon, amidst her busy life as a journalist, she visited a mosque in Kazan. As soon as she stepped inside, she felt something stir within her. The deep silence, combined with the soft echo of the call to prayer, gave her a peace she had never known before. The mosque was not just a place of worship for Ekaterina, it became a place for her to learn more about Islam. She attended religious classes, spoke with scholars, and connected with the Muslim community, which welcomed her with warmth and understanding. But she also had to face the harsh reality: many of her friends and colleagues could not understand her choice. They were worried, confused, and some even fearful. "Are you sure this is the right decision?" Ekaterina, a close friend, asked. "Islam in Russia is often associated with bad things, like extremism." Ekaterina answered with conviction, "I am searching for peace, not violence. Islam teaches peace, love, and respect for others. That's what I need in my life." Despite the doubts and the judgment, Ekaterina stood firm in her choice. She knew that, while the world around her may view Islam in a narrow way, her understanding of it was different, an understanding shaped by her direct experience and a heart yearning for a better way of life. Meanwhile, Kirill, who had always felt disconnected from the fast-paced, materialistic life he had known, also experienced a profound transformation. After meeting with an Islamic scholar in St. Petersburg, he became more certain that Islam was the answer. With determination, Kirill began to study the teachings of Islam, and he worked hard to live a life aligned with its principles. Yet, like the others, he faced challenges. His friends were shocked, and his family felt anxious. But Kirill knew one thing: he had never felt more alive. Islam gave him something more than just understanding; it provided him with a way to live better. He learned to respect himself and others, to live with simplicity, and most importantly, to maintain a strong relationship with God in every step of his life. At the same time, across Russia, this phenomenon was beginning to grow. Islam, which had been present in Russia since the 7th century, was once again spreading in ways no one had expected. In cities like Kazan, Ufa, and even Moscow, spiritual renewal was taking place. Mosques that had long been neglected were being renovated, and new ones were being built. In Kazan, a magnificent new mosque was completed, standing as a symbol of the revival of Islam in the city. This mosque was not just a place of worship, but also an educational center offering religious classes for the young generation eager to learn more about Islam. Even in Moscow, a city filled with political and cultural dynamics, Islam began to find a greater place. The Grand Sultan Ahmed Mosque became a hub for the growing Muslim community. Every day, hundreds of people visited to pray, learn, and gather. Inside the mosque, various classes on Islamic teachings were held, ranging from Quran reading sessions to discussions on the history of Islam in Russia. However, despite this growth, significant challenges remained. Social and political tensions arose. After a series of terrorist attacks linked to extremist groups who claimed to represent Islam, the religion's image was often tarnished. Muslims in Russia felt the need to prove that they were part of a peaceful, tolerant society, not a group associated with violence. In Kazan, Ekaterina felt this pressure more strongly than ever. As a young Muslim woman newly introduced to the faith, she often became the target of skeptical comments. "Don't get involved with those people," some would say. "Islam is dangerous." But Ekaterina knew what she believed. Islam, for her, was a religion of peace, not violence. It taught values far removed from hatred. "We, Muslims, are no different from anyone else. We want to live in peace, just like everyone else," she told those questioning her decision. Alexei, Ekaterina, and Kirill, all three of them, despite facing their own unique journeys, continued to press forward. They knew that their journey was not just about themselves, but also about fostering greater understanding between Muslims and the wider Russian society. The Islam they embraced was one that promoted goodness, peace, and justice, values they wished to share with the world. Their journey was just beginning. Islam in Russia, though still facing great challenges, was growing once again, from hearts full of hope, from an unquenchable spirit, and from a desire to find peace in a world undergoing rapid change. And every small step they took was part of a larger story of how Islam was finding its place in the vast land of Russia.